everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I am your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And today, guys, we're going to be looking at that pitching staff and also what is going on with it this offseason. Some big changes could be coming. It might not look the same way that it ended off looking in 2022 when we get back in 2023. Before we look at all that, though, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below. And TODAYJAYS is the code to get some sweet deals and discounts. Use the link in the description if you want to do that. All right, so let's just run through what our pitching staff was at the end of that horrifying last season.
For sure.
And then we can kind of talk about like what the big changes are going to be moving forward.
Yeah.
Kevin Gausman,
yes,
locked in. We know he's a stud. He's good to go. I mean, we have him for like 4 more years, I think.
4 more years, yep.
Good, I'm loving that. Alek Manoah. He's obviously locked in. Do you know how many years he has left?
I believe that was his either first or second year, because I don't know how if his service time was like activated in the first year, but basically like 4 or 5 more years.
Yeah, we have him for a long time. Literally eternity, and who knows, man? Like based on what Ross was saying in his press conference, maybe big extension coming in that regard there. So just lock him down for even more eternity. So he's locked in, good to go. Sadly, Yusei Kikuchi. Also, still locked in. Now, is he going to be a starter? We don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic that we got to save that for, guys. But yeah, it's not looking good on that end.
No idea. Jose Berrios also maybe sadly locked in. Like, still don't know how to feel about that.
Again, we still know. Probably also another video to look out for.
Yeah, 100%. So he's going to be there. Yusei Kikuchi's going to be there. Are those guys going to actually be able to start for us? We don't know. So those could be some big changes coming to our pitching rotation come 2023 if it just turns out that it's like these guys suck and we need to bring somebody else in. But the big guy that is like 100% at least like at risk of leaving for sure is Ross Stripling. And especially, I say at risk, based on the tweet, or the quote, excuse me, that Ross said. I think you have it right there, bro.
Yeah, Ross, he was talking to the, I guess it was the media. It was a few days after they lost in that game, too. And he said, obviously, with the opening of Strip, referring to Ross Stripling, we're going to look to pursue... to fulfill, excuse me, my handwriting is horrible.
Okay, yeah, we'll pull the tweet up here so you guys can see it too.
That role as well. So they're going to fulfill that role as well. So what does that mean to you, Nick? Does that mean that like Ross is for sure gone? Or is that, because to me that sounds like Ross is for sure gone.
It's definitely interesting wording here from Ross Stripling, and I think that everything he says is calculated, right? You're in the heat. You're in the frying pan right now. And every single word that you say, you're going to have like 2 idiots with a podcast breaking it down, you know? So he's choosing everything very carefully. So when he comes out and says, you know, obviously we're going to have to, what is fill
We're going to have to look to fulfill that role.
Yeah, we're going to need to fill that role.
With the opening with Strip. So what that tells me is it's open now. Strip has opened up a spot. Yeah. So that tells me that Strip isn't coming back. I mean, how could you read that and say, oh, yeah, I mean, Strip's going to be locked down. He's not, you know? He's not going to... It sounds like he's not coming back. But for me, you know, I feel like, you know, at least from a fan perspective, you got to offer this guy a qualifying offer at minimum. So how can you know he's not going to come back if you're not planning on offering him a qualifying offer?
That's
you know
what
I'm saying?
I don't understand. Like, that's what doesn't make sense to me, and that's why maybe there is some internal conversation that's transpired here between Ross, between Mark, between I guess Ross again. Like where it's like, like we're gonna offer you this, he's gonna decline it. Maybe he's already said that. Maybe it's already like an agent conversation. Maybe, and just throwing it out there, playing devil's advocate here, what if Ross, not Stripling, Ross Atkins, what if Ross Atkins chose these words ever so carefully as kind of like a, you know, not bargaining chip, but it's like we're in a negotiation process. Like, let's just say that if Ross Stripling, or Ross Atkins, excuse me, came out and said, like, we're 100%, we really need to get Ross Stripling back, like, we really need to get him back in the building, then that's just fuel for Ross Stripling's agent to go like, all right, we'll fork over the $25 million then.
Right.
So if he comes out and says, well, we got to fill the opening, then maybe it's not as much.
Right. Well, I feel like there's no extension offer for Ross Stripling. If I'm the Blue Jays management, I'm not sending him an offer. Like I'm just looking at the qualifying offer.
You wouldn't do an extension.
No, and we're gonna explain it in another video. But like we're really getting tight on the cap space, guys, and I don't want to lock down. I love Ross Stripling last year. He was phenomenal. I don't even need to say any numbers for you guys to know how important he was to the Blue Jays rotation.
100%.
But he did that coming in about 1/3 of the way through. He had a great 2/3 of the season in the starting rotation. And I think, like, look, get him back for one more year because our window as Toronto Blue Jays team kind of comes to a new window after the 2023 seasons. A lot of guys are getting off the books. How perfect would it be for me to offer Ross just that qualifying offer? It's not pushing the bank too far. He's a good pitcher. He should still be good for next year at least. And then after that year, all these guys come off the books for 2024, including Ross. I kind of don't want to risk it. And if Ross proves it, then I'll offer a big deal after.
Yeah, and I think that that makes the most team sense. Does that make the most sense for Ross Stripling?
That's another thing.
That's another thing that I don't really know, right? Like, I'm not entirely sure what Ross Stripling's market is going to be because his situation was so weird where it's like, you come in a third of the way through, you're really good, you don't have that great of a track record, we don't know what to expect out of you, you're also going to be 33, right? So it's very difficult to, like, give this guy $40 million or something like that, just having seen what he's done in the past. But at the same point, he's definitely a guy that you want on your team.
Well, that's why he's perfect for a qualifying offer. Like, he's literally perfect. Like, okay, you did it, you did really well. We're going to pay you a lot right now, which the qualifying offer is sitting at $19.65 million for a single year.
It's a lot, for sure.
That's more money Ross has ever made in his entire career in a single season. So if I'm Ross, that's probably what you're gonna get is like a qualifying 1 year, or like you go out and like, okay, I'm also gonna get tested for 1 year, 20 million, maybe 2 years with a club option, you know what I mean, or 1 year with a club option on top of that. Okay, that's all you're gonna get.
So let me ask you then, from Ross Atkins' standpoint, when he comes out and talks about this opening that he said right here, do you think he's saying those words specifically because he's gonna offer this to Stripling and Stripling's gonna decline? He knows that Stripling's gonna decline, or is he saying these words specifically because he's not gonna offer that offer to Stripling at all?
I think Ross Atkins is gonna be the first on my fire list if he does not offer Ross Stripling a friggin' qualifying offer, because the worst case scenario is he declines it. Okay, you're exactly where you were if you didn't offer it, but guess what? Now you have a draft pick.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like for a team that is going through a bit of a retooling in the next few years, there will be a retooling with the Toronto Blue Jays. You got to get as many draft picks as possible, right? Yeah. We got it with Marcus Semien last year, got it with Robbie Ray. Now we can get an opportunity here with Ross Stripling coming off a great year. So you got to offer it, or else... I'm sorry, I'm coming for you, Ross Atkins. I'm coming for you, bro.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit pissed off, I think, if, as we're implying right here, huge changes are coming to this pitching rotation, and they're not for the better. If you don't go back and you don't re-sign Ross Stripling, you don't give him this 1 year deal, you don't give him an extension, okay, fine. But how are we going to make this rotation better? And, I know that a lot of analysts are going to throw out the name Ricky Tiedemann. They're going to throw that out. And I like that. I think it's exciting. But can I is Ricky Tiedemann going to take me to the next level? Is Ricky Tiedemann going to bring us to the postseason? I don't know. So if you don't get Ross Stripling back, I'm cool with it. But you better be in that conversation for, like, some of those bigger names. That's what I'm saying. Bigger names that we can trust.
Right. And here comes the question in another podcast. Are they going to even have the money to do that? That's another podcast.
But you know what? Honestly, as a fan, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
Well, as a fan, it's figure it out. But as someone, you're coming off a disappointing year. Like, did you meet your revenue sales? Can you do that? Like, the guy who you have right in front of you is Ross Stripling. That's a guaranteed right there. Offer him the contract. It sucks because right now it's looking like he ain't coming back.
It doesn't feel like, honestly, if I had to sum it up here, guys, this quotation right here from Ross Atkins to me, this is like a 25% chance that Ross Stripling's going to come back. It's like, hey, Ross was really important to us, but we're already planning for the future right here. Now, whether that's because he's not going to offer him the thing in the first place or whether he just knows that Ross Stripling's going to decline, I have no idea. But it does seem like Ross Atkins has already mentally moved on, and all I can hope for is that you're mentally moving on to better players.
Well, that's exactly what's good. Okay, who are they going to get to fulfill that role? Okay, that could mean anything. Is it going to be, not saying this is going to be the guy, is it going to be like a Justin Verlander type?
Right.
Or is it going to be another Yusei Kikuchi
That's
type?
what I'm saying. It's going to be another
one of those?
Yusei Kikuchi who like is just going to screw this team into the ground, and we're going to lose all this young potential. And poor Alek Manoah is going to be there like just carrying the squad with 7 innings every time.
Literally, this guy's going to be Roy Halladay back in the early 2000s, being dominant.
And it's not going to mean anything.
You're not going to do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Ridiculous. Guys, let us know in the comments down below what you think about this pitching rotation. Is Ross Stripling gone for good? And if we don't manage to go out and get Ross Stripling back, what does the team need to do right now to fix the current holes that are in the goddamn pitching rotation? Because Yusei Kikuchi ain't cutting it, boys.
No, not at all. And guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also $3 a month to become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current Patreon members. You guys are absolutely stunning.
Thanks so much for watching.
And go Jays, go!